Welcome back to the Let Us In podcast, our first head-to-head, where we'll be pitting Michael versus Jason. Dig to the end and see who we pick as the victor. I'm Justine, aka JustineUFF.
I'm Emma, aka Emma of the Impact.
We're going to talk about Michael and Jason, not just their franchises and what we think of them, but their powers, their strengths, their weaknesses, our favorite and our least favorite of their franchises. And at the end, we'll pick a victor on who we think would win between a matchup between those two. I am going to start off saying something fairly controversial, I think. I'm not a huge fan of the Halloween franchise.
I guess.
Everybody saying shock and horror.
You're not a true horror fan.
I know. I think that the franchise is a little jumbled. It's a little all over the place. And Michael is kind of cool, though. I'll give him that.
I think Michael is cool. I think Dr. Loomis is cooler. I think what makes Michael so cool for me, and I do like the Halloween franchise, is that the mirror of Dr. Loomis to Michael, they're both obsessed. You know, I mean, Michael's obsessed with killing, I guess, and then and whatever thing he's got going on with his sister, depending on what timeline you're in. Usually that's the timeline with Dr. Loomis anyway. And Dr. Loomis is just like, that's his life. You know, that's his life. I mean, and that Donald Pleasance made that, you know, he's like, there was originally a scene in the original Halloween where he was going to call his wife, chat like, oh, by the way, I'm not going to make it home to dinner or whatever. And Donald Pleasance is like, no, this isn't the character. This character is like Michael. He's got tunnel vision. This is not word for word, by the way, but this is a tunnel vision. He doesn't have a life beyond Michael.
No life. He's a workaholic. He's all he cares about.
You know,
his wife is probably with the milkman. He doesn't even know.
Yeah, probably. I always think of that line. He's like, the eyes of evil, and it reminds me of the when they're in Jaws. They're like a doll's eyes,
like a doll's eyes,
like a doll's eyes. I love Quint. Like,
me too.
Although Jason is like a shark. And they say the same about Michael, too, that they kill and they move forward.
One of the things I do like about Michael is he is scary as this like quiet, dark, stalking figure. Even in daylight, he comes, you know, out of the corners, out of the shadows of broad daylight to like just be scary and like haunting and just existing.
He's
being calm, like, you know.
He's the shape. Yeah. It's like in the first Halloween and kind of into Halloween 4, he's almost like a personification of death itself in a way. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like this emotionless, just like coldness to him that exists in the early iterations of Michael.
It felt like a great showing of tension and how to like bring about this stalking figure that's just always there throughout the film. You start to just keep looking for him. And that is such a cool way to kind of interact with your audience. So I think that John Carpenter was very genius in that regard. The franchise as a whole, things get a little weird. But I also don't understand Michael. Is he like indestructible? Is he not? Is he like otherworldly? Like, why is it that he can get stabbed in the neck or shoved with a hanger into his eyeballs and just still keep coming and keep coming and keep coming?
Well, it depends on what timeline you're on. Are you on the up to H2O timeline where the other Halloweens didn't happen after number 2?
I would have to get like an infograph.
Halloween 2 or Halloween 1 to H2O, and then there's the original, and then we have Halloween 3, which is an outlier there. So like, only shows up. We know he shows up on the TV in the bar, guys. We got Tom Atkins. So it's the timeline of Halloween 1 into Halloween 6, where in Halloween 6 they have that, like, I hate it, but I can't stay away from it. Like, I've watched Halloween 6 so many times where they start going into that weird Samhain, Thorn, the curse of Michael Myers is that, like, we have to sacrifice a child to kill his family to protect the village from evil spirits. So he is supernatural in a way we don't, like, super strength is something that they emphasize on that. And then,
does Lori have a son? Does she have a daughter? Do we know anymore?
Jamie. I love Jamie. I'm on Team Jamie.
What happened to Josh
100%.
Hartnett?
Yeah, that did happen to him. I thought that was a great ending in Halloween 5, which, spoiler ahead, it might be my favorite of the franchise, where Jamie ends up even dressed in that classic clown costume that we know Michael in as a child so much. And
I
that
do love that juxtaposition a lot.
I love it. And that she has inherited this from a combination of, it's implied, a combination of genes and also environment, considering that she just survived all this from her uncle trying to kill her.
Well, let's get into it. Halloween 5 being your favorite.
It is my favorite. It is. I love Halloween 1. It's very hard to pick, especially since I love the 70s vibe. And
Halloween 1 is my favorite.
Oh, yeah. Because it's 70s or because
a little bit of everything. So I love the filmography of it. I love what he was able to accomplish with that film, the craft of tension to be like, it's what I loved about The Thing also. Michael Myers is the most effective when he is a bit unknown in Halloween, where he is a boogeyman. He is kind of a myth that is incarnated. And at the same time, we're able to tell a really cool story, like a classy slasher. I call them classy slashies, and I usually are comparing them to Halloween.
I always makes me think of Ashy Slashy. I love Ash, but we're not talking about him today.
No. I think Halloween is the classy slashy. I think it's right up there with, like Black Christmas and those cool slashers that came from the 70s. It definitely has all of that.
I guess the first widespread release, truly American slasher.
Yes.
Horror usually it mirrors social issues. And slashers to me are more of an escape away from social issues. Things are kind of rough right now. Let's watch some pretty people getting killed. Which, interestingly enough, an interesting take that I've seen other people make about Jason is that in a lot of the movies, there's a big storm coming, and that Jason kind of mirrors a storm. So, like where Michael is kind of the shape, this evil, and Jason almost is like this natural occurrence in a weird way, even though his backstory isn't that. But the way he's presented, it's like he's this storm that just comes and there's like no reasoning with it.
I think Michael was a great display of an attack on suburbia and comfort, because she feels like this innocent babysitter in suburbia, and it's all, the whole town is just tore up by this by this one event. Your little suburban idyllic house is one event from being completely overturned. And then you had Jason, who was like a revenge. He's the persecution of your sins. He is
executioner.
Yeah. Overall, what is your favorite Friday the 13th film?
It's gonna be a popular opinion, but it's popular for a reason. And that's the fourth one, which has
final chapter.
Corey Feldman in it.
Yes.
And that character was based off of Tom Savini himself when he was a kid too.
Aww.
Which is cool. I know. Oh my God, isn't that so cute? With the mask. But I think that one definitely, it's the most fun. It's also the most different in a way that makes sense. It's just definitely easily my favorite.
Yeah. I think it is my favorite as well. We agreed on this. I think that it's one of the most solid ones. It has really good kills, really great acting, and a good story. And I think that some of the Friday the 13th stories fall off. So this one's my favorite, barely edging out the original. I think the original of both these franchises are some of the best. Now, Halloween is my favorite from the Halloween franchise. I really do like the tension, the stalking, the thrill of the first one. Friday the 13th, the final chapter, I think is the most solid of the Friday the 13th franchise. Now, I will give Halloween a little bit of credit. I feel like the Friday the 13th franchise is a little sillier. But
I like that about it. That's what I like. I feel like
that's why I prefer it. I can give it a little bit more leeway with that. And the story is linear from beginning to end. None of them.
Until we had that little hiccup from 1 to 2, where it's supposed to be like right afterwards and he's somehow an adult. But we'll forget about that. That series, if it were sentient, decided, I'm a teen slasher movie. I'm going to keep it I'm going to take myself seriously, but I'm going to have fun. But Halloween, when it goes from the first one into the 6th, especially when they started talking about the curse of Michael Myers, the whole thing where he gets his niece pregnant. I
Yeah.
know it depends on what cut it is. I know it depends on which cut you're watching,
Calm
but it
down.
sticks
We
with me.
here.
It sticks with me. I can't help it. I can't help it. But it feels like they try to take themselves too seriously with still being just as ridiculous. Like it didn't have the
Yeah.
fun in the ridiculousness
Not the
the
right
same way.
tone. You have like a lot of seriousness behind a very silent killer. It should be brutal on that serious level. It should be very grounded. And then they tried to kind of unground it and
Over explain it. It's like where they tried to over explain Michael, they just brought Jason back from the dead. They're like, let's make him undead. We'll have more freedom that way. Boom.
The Friday the 13th.
Difference.
There's nothing about grounding the franchise in the Friday the 13th franchise. They don't care about
back
grounded.
They
don't care. Yeah, the kills are what mattered and being ridiculous. And it is.
Felt like a commentary on the franchise itself of like how how everyone always makes that joke. Oh, is this really gonna be the last one? As long as
self-aware.
As long as studio accountants see money coming in, it's never going to be the last one. Okay, we all know that. Which is fine because I benefit from it sometimes myself as a customer.
They could just send Michael to space, and then I would eat my word, and I would say, okay, so you guys are not serious.
You know what? I would watch it. I would own it. I know. I am. It's like we were born into these franchises and we're with them till the end. I mean, I didn't love Halloween Kills.
Halloween ends in space.
Halloween ends in space featuring Leprechaun. And then they know that. And then the more they carry on a franchise and younger people see it, it's like other people are born into the franchise. Which I'm fine with it. Not everything has to be a love from the soul art passion project, although I love those too. Some can be I don't care if it's a cash grab. If I'm going to have fun, I don't care. I don't care if it's cash. I don't care. It's for my enjoyment. I just have to enjoy it. So, but with Halloween Kills, it's very mid. It's okay.
It is.
It's
that's super cheesy. I just don't like the cheese in it. Like it was
Evil
you
Dies
don't have
Tonight.
to bring that whole shebang in the bar could have been left out completely, and it could have just been about Laurie and Judy Greer's character.
Not enough Judy Greer too. I felt like
I love Judy. She was really great. They could have focused literally on just them at the hospital and then Michael making his way to them. And that could have been the whole movie and left out that whole Evil Dies Tonight. And I would have enjoyed it a hell of a lot more. The Evil Dies Tonight stuff made me laugh out loud at them. Like the acting was bad. The line delivery was cheesy. You don't have to bring back legacy characters for the fuck of it. Like it didn't add anything.
I had some fun. As a lot of people say, there were great kills in Halloween Kills.
Yeah, we could have that without the Evil Dies Tonight.
I know. I think the thing that bothered me is when they start talking about like how they accidentally killed that dude in the hospital that was like what was he, an escaped inmate? I don't remember what he was. But the guy that like jumped out of the window, and it's like Michael created how Michael created the mob. It's like Michael's not the effing Joker, okay? He just not pre-planning things. He just wants to kill and move
making his way over to them.
It's like they had the narrative like he's like the Joker kind of, but also that he just keeps on staring at the window, either whether he's looking back at his own reflection or what have you. I don't know. But they were going with that. I didn't mind that. But adding the like he wanted the chaos of everybody else to happen just didn't make sense to me. I don't think Michael thinks about things that hard. I don't think of him as a simpleton, but I don't think of him as somebody that is
I think Michael is very determined. I feel like Jason is not very smart. I think that Michael has that over him. Michael, I think, is a little bit more intelligent. But I think
sinister than Jason.
more
feels
sinister.
Like he just wants his mommy. I just want this
Yeah.
body.
Or just to be left alone. Like that is all he knows is Camp Crystal Lake. Stay away. That's it. Just stay away. And I think they make that clear in like the reboot where they're like, oh, we never go over there. We leave Camp Crystal Lake alone. And then the minute that they did go over there is when he decided to come over and start killing them all.
Is that easy? Is that easy? Just don't
Really
go
that
there.
easy. Just leave him alone.
Just leave it alone. Just
Very like almost primal, just this existing beast over there in Camp Crystal Lake. Whereas Michael is a very determined force of a person. He has a task in front of him. It's his only care. He only cares about that one thing. He's going for it. He's going to kill her or anybody around her. Everybody is on his way. That's his one task. Now, with that, what are we doing, Michael? What happens when you're done? Are you going to find a new Lori? Like, what are you going to...
He thinks that ahead of time. When we think
Yeah.
of current canon timeline, Laurie isn't as important. I always felt like, so does he just want to stare outside his window in his room? Or does he just want to like do that, then go kill and then come back? Like I didn't
Where are
I
we
didn't
going,
really,
dude?
but maybe, which I'll see it. I'll see it in theaters. Maybe Halloween Ends will elaborate on that, but hopefully they don't elaborate too much. So many serial killers were like very active in the 70s, and like in Halloween, even though it affects the whole town, most of the town does in the first Halloween. They don't know what's going on. It's just the cops. Like they're like, is this even really happening? We're just kind of taking this guy on his word in case something bad happens, which is good. Like it's better to be safe than sorry. And most of the town is unaware, and like this idea of the very active serial killers in the 70s and the 80s, whether they were more like Jason, you know, some dude that's out in the woods, or somebody that is living in suburbia.
What is your least favorite of the Halloween franchise?
So usually when I get asked what's my least favorite, I usually think of Halloween 6 first because I don't like the Thorn curse thing going on. But you know, that movie has things going for it, like Paul Rudd and
Was the
Donald
hottest.
Pleasance.
Love.
And Donald Pleasance is still in it, and he's still great. One movie with Halloween that just sticks out as super bad is Resurrection. It starts with looking at that mask. Everyone knows how laughable that mask is. And the weird thing about Halloween Resurrection is they go into the house and it has like this cool concept, but the execution is bad, the mask is bad, all of it's just not good.
I think Jamie Lee Curtis looks great in it though. I mean, she looks great. I think she does fine in this one, but it is the weakest. It's the weakest. Michael looks ridiculous. You cannot be afraid of someone with like Sharpie eyebrows. I'm sorry. You just can't. You look silly, right? Even the poster cover, like it looks like Phantom of the Opera with
Isn't
a
like
smile.
one big white head with like little heads?
Yeah, on the knife, and like and like there's like the little grin almost of the mask. Oh my god, it's so bad. Every character in it is stupid. They all were literally just there to die. Like
there's so many where the characters are stupid, they're there to die, but it's somehow so over the top it becomes fun. This is not one of those. Like Halloween 6, I've seen it many times. I can enjoy watching it. But Halloween Resurrection is just not fun enough. It's not enjoyable enough to watch.
Yeah, it made H2O look good.
I like H2O. I think it's really good, actually.
I think it's fun.
I think
that's exactly what we're talking about. Now for Friday the 13th, we also agree on this one. We both think that Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday, is not the final, probably to make up for the fact of how bad it is.
I mean, again, it has the worst sin a movie can have is to be boring. Like that's the worst thing a movie could be. Like as dumb as some of the other ones, as unrealistic as maybe just mid, or some are. But when it becomes like to the point where it's boring, I don't remember. I've seen it at least 4 times. Like realistically, I don't remember it.
All I can remember every single time is that there's a giant worm that turns people into Jason and possesses them.
And how could that movie
some bad
be boring?
Tequila.
How could that movie be boring, right? I mean, it sounds awesome.
On paper, it sounds so 80s.
Awesome. It sounds awesome. Yeah, but they
Yeah.
fixed it when Jason X. They fixed it when Jason went to space. That's a fun movie.
That one's so fun. The cryogenic head. Oh my God.
Yes.
So let's talk about, we've talked about the weakness of the franchise. What are some of the actual weaknesses of Michael and Jason? Freddy versus Jason. Jason is clearly afraid of water. That is a weakness.
That's how he died or didn't die is never clear. That's where he was
right.
trapped
Where he
underwater
was
for a long time.
Yeah. So water is a weakness of Jason. I would say Michael has a weakness, and it is his determination. His singular focus is going to be a weakness because whatever is going on around him doesn't matter. If it's in his way, he's going to try to destroy it. And I think that because that wouldn't be Jason if they were fighting, that could be a weakness.
Do you feel that Michael is a little more cautious than that Michael or Jason is more cautious? Because it sounds like Jason's a little more cautious, even though he is the simpler character. There's something seems like he
I
has
would
more
say because he's
awareness of his surroundings.
reclusive. Yeah. He is his surroundings. So Michael goes out and is stalking and tracking, whereas Jason is just existing in his home. Like Crystal Lake is his, right?
Oh, so
So
that's another good question
that,
to this melee battle is where does it take
it has to take
place?
place in Crystal Lake because that's where
It
Jason
does,
is.
because that's where
So
Jason
maybe
is.
Lori went to Crystal Lake for vacation, and here we are. Michael had to show up.
And I feel like, that saying, like, you can't beat Russia in Russia, and I feel like Michael's the same way, like,
Home
not Michael. I
territory.
feel like
Home
Jason's the
turf.
same way. You bring it in his home turf, you can't beat Jason in his home turf, come on.
It's
Can't
home
beat
field
him.
advantage, 100%. And so he understands Camp Crystal Lake. He knows the turf. He knows the hiding spot. He knows where his weapons are. He knows.
I feel like he gets anxious if he's away from home. I feel like anxiety is still a real thing for Jason. I mean, or fear, if you want to make it simpler. I think
And he views everybody as a threat. Anybody that comes to Camp Crystal Lake is a threat. I would say Jason has a weakness of water. Michael's weakness is his determination. So he's going out. He's out in the unknown, right?
and arguably, whether he's under the Samhain kind of Celtic curse or not, super strength or not, technically, I don't believe, someone will correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe Michael has ever technically died.
I don't think he has either. I don't think that he has technically died or has been reborn or resurrected in any capacity, whereas Jason is kind of a zombie. He has.
He
He's
becomes
a
one.
little
It's like
undead.
he has that.
There's
I love undead Jason. It's so cool looking.
Yeah.
And King Hodder.
Well, and there's theories that he's a deadite. There's theories out there that he was brought back via the Necronomicon, that he was a deadite. So I think it's time for us to make our determination. Jason versus Michael. We got Jason with home field advantage. Got Michael with determination and creepy.
I think that he has determination, and when it comes to fighting Jason,
I think he's smarter.
Not in his way. Let's say Jason's not in his way of doing his determinated thing.
Yeah.
He has less focus. Michael has less focus. In this, he's determinated, but he's determinated. It's not a word.
He's a determinator.
He's a determinator. He's determined, but when it comes to a fight against someone like Jason, the heart is not there.
It's not there. Jason's not Lori. He doesn't care about Jason. He's not focused on Jason. Jason is very focused on anybody at Camp Crystal Lake. So for me, the clear winner is Jason Voorhees.
And I agree, Jason Voorhees all the way.
Let us know in the comments if you agree. Do you think Jason would win or Michael? And do we leave out any strengths or weaknesses?
This was a casual, relaxed.
Casual.
I know this looks super suspicious, like Clue, like there were 4, now there are 2. Crystal will be joining us again next week, so don't worry about that.
Yeah. This is our new series, Head to Head. We will be throwing these out there periodically. We might do it for our regular programming. We might do it in between. Keep an eye out for more head-to-heads in our future.
And who would you like to see next? Who do you want to see go head to head?
Join our Discord. Links are going to be down below. Until next time.